Good morning, my dear students. How are you? I hope all of you are staying at home and trying to keep yourselves safe and sound in this pandemic situation. With the teachers of Dhaka College are always by you, and we are trying our level best to make your studies keep forward or go forward. So, my dear students, you know that in my last class I talked about modifier 4. That means in the meanwhile we have conducted 4 classes on modifier. This is our 5th class. I have told you that I will conduct a lot of classes on modifier to complete the whole process. In my last class I had a recap session. What does it mean? It means I made you remind some of the topics or issues that I conducted in my last classes regarding modifier. I talked about the definition of modifier, I talked about the classification of modifier, and I also talked about the question pattern of modifier. And you know that we enlisted 11 grammatical items or terms under pre-modifier and another 5 grammatical items under post-modifier. And as far as I can remember, I completed a positive, the first term under post-modifier. My dear students, we are going to start with the second grammatical term under post-modifier, and that is relative clause. So our main target will be to talk about or to focus on relative clause, and I hope all of you will stay with us so that we can have a interactive class. We can have an interactive class. The students, look at, we are going to focus on relative clause, and in order to conduct a class on relative clause, we will learn a lot of issues related to this grammatical device. So my dear students, we are going to talk about post modifier. And we are going to talk about grammatical item number 2, and that is relative clause. That is relative clause, dear students. What is relative clause? We need to know, but before learning relative clause, we need to know clause. Okay, so my dear, let us start with clause. Clause. What is clause? What do you mean by clause? If I say a part of a greater sentence having one subject and one finite verb. So dear students, I can say clause is a part of a greater sentence having one subject, one finite verb. Clause is a part of a greater sentence having one subject and one finite verb. What does it mean? It means if a part of a sentence wants to be a clause, it must contain one subject and one finite verb, and this will be the part of a sentence. For example, what would happen if this to know what would happen if you missed. What would happen? This is the first part of the sentence. If you missed, this is the second part of this sentence. So these two parts comprise the whole sentence. These two parts comprise the whole sentence. The first part, what would happen? This is the first part. If you missed, this is the second part. Here, what would happen? Here, would and happen both work as finite verb. Okay, what works as the subject? You works as the subject, missed is the finite verb. That's why I can say in this part, in this sentence, we have got two clauses. We have got two clauses, okay? We have got two clauses. What would happen? This is the first clause. If you miss this is the second clause, okay? So in this clause, in this sentence, we have got two clauses. One is what would happen, and the second one is if you missed. From these two clauses, can you identify whether there is any subordinate clause or not? What do you think, dear students? Do you find any subordinate clause or principal clause in this sentence? If you get, write down in the comment box. In this sentence, we have got two clauses. Do you find any principal clause and subordinate clause? Tell me, hurry up, my dear students. Yes, Yusuf Ahmed, what would happen? Independent clause. And if you missed, dependent clause. Excellent. What about others? What about others? I'm expecting your answer, dear students. Where are my other students? Try to show your presence with the answer. Hurry up. Yes, we have got two clauses. What would happen? This is the first clause. If you miss, this is the second clause. Look at please, dear students. What would happen? This part can express its meaning without the help of any other part in the sentence. That's why I can say what would happen is dependent or independent is independent. And if you missed, this is dependent. That's why what would happen? This is principal clause, and principal clause is actually called independent clause. And here, if you missed, this part will be termed as dependent clause or subordinate clause. So in this sentence, we have got one principal clause and one subordinate clause, and ultimately in subordinate clause we will get a conjunction. And what is the conjunction? The conjunction is if. So my dear students, up to this part we have got the definition of a clause, and we have got principal clause and subordinate clause, a principal clause and a subordinate clause. Look at, but our main target is relative clause. We have to learn it. Dear students, up to this part we have got the definition of clause. Clause is a part of a greater sentence having one subject and one finite verb. Okay, clause is a part of a greater sentence having one subject and one finite verb. And in a complex sentence we will get one principal clause and one subordinate clause. Here we have got one principal clause and one subordinate clause. What is the subordinate clause? If you missed, what is the principal clause? What would happen? In total we have got a complex sentence. Okay, my dear student. Now let us learn relative clause. Let us learn relative clause. I can say a relative clause. A relative clause has another name, and that is an adjective clause. A relative clause is usually a relative clause is usually a subordinate clause. A relative clause is usually a subordinate clause which carries a relative pronoun as the conjunction. Dear students, a relative clause is usually a subordinate clause which carries a relative pronoun as the conjunction. Okay, dear students, just sorry, my dear student, the color I think became blur to understand. That's why I've used another color here. The color of my shirt and the color of the writing has become similar. That's why you find it difficult to notice clearly. So my dear students, a relative clause is usually a subordinate clause which carries relative pronoun as the conjunction. So relative clause will carry relative pronoun as the conjunction, and this part must be a subordinate clause. Let me give an example. I will give you a lot of examples today. Okay, dear student, look at please. The people who laid down their lives in 1971 are immortal. I have a question, my dear students. The people who laid down their lives in 1971 are immortal. Do you find any subordinate clause in this sentence, dear students? Do you find any subordinate clause in this sentence? If you get, write in the comment box. If you get, write in the comment box, dear students. If you get, write in the comment box. Hurry up. At first, try to identify the subordinate clause. Can you identify any subordinate clause? I want my students to identify subordinate clause. Nafiz Iqbal, thank you. According to Nafiz Iqbal, who laid down their lives. Nuruddin Sarkar, lives is a verb. It's not a subordinate clause. Abul Bashar, who is not a subordinate clause? Who is a relative pronoun? I think Mahmudul Ahmed Jonait, you are absolutely correct. I have told you to identify subordinate clause, not the conjunction. Hurry up. Yes, Nuruddin Sarkar, Jaid Ahmed, Lubna Akhtar, who is not the subordinate clause, is the conjunction only. Thank you. Thank you. Saidur Rahman, Rahat, Jihad. Sharif, dear student, please identify the subordinate clause, not the conjunction. Thank you. Here, the subordinate clause is who laid down their lives in 1971. So this is the part who laid down their lives in 1971. This is the part of subordinate clause. Now tell me the conjunction of this subordinate clause. What is the conjunction of this subordinate clause? Who laid down their lives in 1971? Tell me the conjunction of this subordinate clause. Yes, tell me. Right now tell me. Yes, definitely most of the students will tell me that. Who is the subordinate? Who is the conjunction here? Okay. Who laid down their lives in 1971? This is the subordinate clause. And what is the conjunction? The conjunction is who. I think here who is a relative pronoun. Here who is a relative pronoun. Now question arises about what a relative pronoun is. What a relative pronoun is. You know that who, whom, what, that, which, who, whom, what, that, which, but, as. These words can be worked as a relative pronoun. Okay. But and as also work as relative pronoun exceptionally. Okay. These are the words which can be used as relative pronoun. But if these words want to be relative pronouns, they must have to maintain some characteristics. Okay. If these words want to work as relative pronoun, definitely, dear students, if these words want to act as relative pronouns, definitely these words must have what? Antecedent. Must have antecedent. The noun and pronouns, the noun and pronoun which is used before a relative pronoun is called antecedent. Is called antecedent. What is the antecedent of this sentence? The antecedent is people. A-N-T-E-C-E-D-E-N-T. Okay. The noun or pronoun which takes its position before a relative pronoun is called an antecedent. Okay. So we normally get relative pronoun after antecedent. An antecedent is always a noun and pronoun. Clear to you, my dear students? Here the antecedent is the people. The antecedent is the people. In the meanwhile, my dear students, I have clarified what is clause, what a clause is, what a subordinate clause is. Now we have identified relative pronoun and the antecedent. If any parts of speech, if any word wants to be a relative pronoun, definitely that relative pronoun must contain an antecedent. Then this antecedent takes its position before relative pronoun. So after relative pronoun, after antecedent, we get the relative pronoun. Is it clear to you? After antecedent, we get the relative pronoun. Okay. If there is no antecedent, that word, that is who, whom, what, that, which, but, as, will not work as relative pronoun. Okay, clear to you? Up to this part, we have got relative pronoun, we have got antecedent, and we have got subordinate clause. Okay. So if any subordinate clause starts with, my dear students, if any subordinate clause starts with a relative pronoun, that relative pronoun added subordinate clause will be relative clause or adjective clause. Should I repeat, my dear students? If any subordinate clause starts with a relative pronoun, that relative pronoun added subordinate clause will be relative clause or adjective clause. Clear to you? Here, the who laid down their lives is a perfect example of relative clause or adjective clause. Clear to you? Now, I want my students to give me a lot of answers from a lot of questions. Look at please. I'm going to give you a lot of questions on this topic, that is relative clause or adjective clause. Okay. The boy in the bracket I have given A. This is question number A. Post modify the noun with adjective clause. That is, you have to modify the noun boy, and in order to modify the noun boy, you have to use an adjective clause. So post modify the noun with adjective clause. The boy dash cuts a sorry figure. Sorry, my dear students. Now give me the answer. What should be the answer? Hurry up. What should be the answer? I want an adjective clause. Okay, Nuruddin Sarkar. Don't use the conjunction only. A clause is not a conjunction. You have to use a clause, and that clause must contain a relative pronoun as the conjunction. Oh my God. Munarinam, Muhammad Rimon, A very naughty boy. Oh my God. Look at the boy that just cuts a sorry figure. Mehdi Hassan has written, the boy who is a good student cuts a sorry figure. Try to use such a clause which becomes relevant to this sentence. Who reads in class 11, who is brilliant? Imran, you have written an example who is brilliant. The boy who is brilliant cuts a sorry figure. That means a brilliant student gets bad marks. Very, very, very bad. No, a decision cannot cut a sorry figure means to get bad marks. That is not, if any student gets a poor marks in the exam, we can call it sorry figure. Hafizur Rahman, you are absolutely correct. According to Hafizur Rahman, who wastes his valuable time. Oh, that's good. Shopnil, who is indifferent to his history. Excellent. Tausia Zaman, you are absolutely correct. Durjoy, you are correct. Yes. Hurry up. Give me a lot of answers. Oh my God. Nuruddin Shortkar, you are absolutely correct now. Who is the backbencher? Wow, excellent. Who is not an attentive student? Okay. I want some fiery answers from you. Jihad is from Brahmanbaria Government College. Welcome, Jihad. Who is inattentive? Excellent. Give me some more answers. I think most of my students have written good answers. Excellent. If I say, you should write A. If I say, who plays truant? Who plays truant? Who is inattentive? Can I say, who plays truant? Oh my God, you are writing some excellent answers. Thank you. Yusuf Ahmed, who is failure like me? What does it mean? Yusuf, your sentence should be grammatically correct. Who is hardly mindful to study? Ronnie Mia, good, excellent. Who is drug addicted? Good, but A of addicted should be smallized. Okay. According to Mehdi Hassan, what is truant? Who can tell me the Bengali meaning of truant? Play truant means play truant. Play, look at please, play truant. In Bengali, play truant is a phrase. In Bengali, it's called school palano. School palano. Play truant means school palano. Okay, so play truant means school palano. It is a I am really overjoyed with the answer you have written. Most of the answers written by you are absolutely correct. Should I give you another example, my dear student? Should I give you? I need to give you some more questions. Now I will give you two questions on relative clause or adjective clause. Dear student, can I ask you a question? Have you understood a relative clause or adjective clause? A relative clause or adjective clause is such a subordinate clause which starts with relative pronoun. And before relative pronoun, you must have to use, you must have to get or must have to use an antecedent. Look at please. I need to give you two. So we are making questions on relative clause or adjective clause. First, example. The textbooks, this is question number B. Post modify the noun with an adjective clause. The textbook blah 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 have to be modified. This is our first example. Now the second example. Bangladesh use a relative clause to post modify the noun. Bangladesh dash has become an emerging tiger. I have given you two questions. Just give me the answer. The textbooks blah 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 have to be modified. Blah blah. In the gap you have to use an adjective clause. Bangladesh dash 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 has become an emerging tiger. In the bracket you have to use an relative clause. Okay, carry on. I have given you two questions. Dear students, please write or take the verb after relative pronoun according to the textbooks. Textbooks is plural, okay? Ronimia, which is arranged. The textbooks is a plural subject. That's why you have to take plural verb after which. Saidur Rahman, your answer is not correct. You have written which is not appropriate. Which is, yes. Simon Ferdos, you are correct. Saidur not correct. Yes. Sabir, your verb is not correct. Sharmin Rani, you are not correct. Ashim Hassan Siam, you are absolutely correct in both the answer. Thank you. Yusuf Ahmed, you are also incorrect. Nuruddin Sharkar, you are absolutely correct. Jihad, which is less, this is inappropriate. Dear students, the textbooks is a plural noun. The verb must be agreed according to the textbooks. As textbooks is a plural noun, you have to take plural verb. Jihad Ahmed, which, no. Yes. The second answer is correct. Nuruddin Sharkar, darling child of nature. It's a phrase, not a clause. Start with a relative pronoun. Okay. Nuruddin Sharkar, you can write which is a darling child of nature. Enam, you are correct. Shomojit, which become in, thank you. Which is small country, good. I want a lot of answers from you. If you can write, you'll be able to rectify your mistakes. Write a lot. Don't be frustrated if you write incorrect answers. We have got a lot of examples here. In the meanwhile, we have talked for 30 minutes. Hurry up, write. Nafiz Iqbal, what have you written? Which were written by Karim, which was once a very poor and corrupted country. Good, very good, Nafiz Iqbal. Try to write some diplomatic answer, okay? Good, very good. I need some more answers from you. We have got 210 viewers with us right now. I need 210 answers from you. And those who are not writing the answers should write, because if you write a wrong answer, I will rectify it, okay? So my dear student, look at please. The first answer, the textbooks. You have to take the answers according to textbooks. Textbooks is a plural subject. If you write which, look at please, which is or are designed for 11 and 12. Which is or which are? What should be the answer, my dear students? Which is or which are? The textbooks which is designed for class 11 and 12, or which are designed for class 11 and 12. What should be? Nuddin Sarkar, your answer has become a phrase. You should use a clause, and in order to create a clause, you have to start with relative pronoun. My question is, I have given two options here, which is or are. Which one is the appropriate one? Which one is the appropriate one? Should I use is or should I use are? If you take is, your answer will be incorrect, because there will be no agreement between textbooks and is. Textbooks is a plural noun. That's why you have to take the textbooks which are designed for class for 11 and 12 have to be modified. Okay. Whatever you write must be balanced according to the textbooks. Clear to you, my dear students? Now the second answer. Bangladesh dash. Use a relative clause to post modify the noun. You can write a lot of answers. Okay. Have you got why we should use a plural verb, my dear students? Have you got me? Now here you can use a singular verb, because Bangladesh is a singular noun. Okay, you can write Bangladesh if I'm suppose writing Bangladesh, this answer number C. Which came into being as an independent country in 1971. Okay, which came into being as an independent country in 1971. Bangladesh, if someone writes which is the birthplace of বঙ্গবন্ধু okay, these are the answers. Here if you take a verb either singular or plural, okay, you must have to think once again whether this verb has a definite balance with the subject in the sentence. Okay, so in the meanwhile we have got I think we have got relative clause or adjective clause. I'm going to give you the last example regarding the question of relative clause or adjective clause. Our last example for relative clause or adjective clause. All post modify the pronoun with an all dash okay, give me the answer, hurry up. All dash is not gold. Post modify the pronoun with an adjective clause. Hurry up, hurry up. Thank you. Jonite, absolutely correct. We have 13 minutes left. Hurry up, my dear students. Hurry up, write down the answer. Hurry up, I'm waiting for your answer, my dear students. All dash is not gold. What should be the answer? What should be the answer here? Is the internet slow today? Oh my God, very sad. Your reply, that is your comments in the comment box get a lot of time. No, very sad. I am not getting the comments written by you, my dear students. For the last 60 seconds we haven't got a comment. My dear students, don't be busy with silly talkings. Yes, you're correct. Now I have got the comments from you. Nafiz Iqbal, you are absolutely correct. Very sad. All okay, this is okay, my dear student, this is a proverb and the answer should be all that glitters. All that glitters is not gold. The answer should be all that glitters. Okay, you should write that glitters in your answer. All which is glittering is not the answer. Shajib Rahman, it should be that glitters. Khalid, you have started with capital T. This is not appropriate. Use small t, okay? All that glitters is not gold. So my dear students, we have clarified, that is I have clarified a positive in my last class, and today I have completed relative clause or adjective clause, okay? And today I would like to start a new grammatical item. I will talk for another 9 minutes, okay? Let us start with participle. Let us start with participle, okay? I'm sure I will not be able to complete participle today, but I'd like to start, okay? It is participle. What is participle? What is participle? Today's internet is really pathetic. What is participle? Very sad, very sad. Today's video is not up to the mark. I am unlucky, my dear student. I am unlucky. Okay. Better days will come again, okay? Okay, what is a participle? Who can tell me? Can anybody tell me what participle is? Who can tell me the definition of participle? Who can tell me the definition of participle? Hurry up, my dear students, hurry up. Before giving the definition of participle, I'd like to give you an example of modifier regarding participle. I will not tell you in details. I will not tell you participle in details today. Let me give an example, okay? Oh, sorry, I have used a wrong color today. Every time I am using a wrong color. Dear students, I'm talking about participle. Participle can be either pre-modifier or post-modifier. Participle can be either pre-modifier or post-modifier, okay? Participle can be either pre-modifier or post-modifier. I'm giving you a question, and it is related to pre-modifier. Suppose, what should I write? I should give you a very easy example so that you can write the answer. Pre-modify the noun. Sorry, I have this double noun here. Pre-modify the noun. Pre-modify the noun with present participle. Pre-modify the noun with present participle, okay? A dash, a bird, is a perfect example. A dash bird is a perfect example of beauty. A dash bird is a perfect example of beauty. Pre-modify the noun with present participle. I haven't, my dear students, sorry, I haven't taught you present participle, but I have given you a question. Actually, I want to know whether you have got any conception regarding present participle or participle, okay? Should anyone write the answer? Can anyone write the answer? Nordin Sharkar, you are absolutely correct. I have given you a question. A dash bird is a perfect example of beauty. In the bracket, you have to use a present participle. I will discuss every participle in detail, but give me the answer. Just give me the answer. Good, very good. What should be the answer? Have you not got any answer? Dear students, have you not got any answer? A dash bird. If I say a flying bird, can I say a flying bird? Dear students, I will make you clear. I will make you clear about the difference between participle and gerund and everything, but not today. Actually, I don't want to go deeper into participle today because I have a limited time. I have just 3 minutes. Within 3 minutes, I don't want to go deeper, okay? But I would like to give you a clear conception regarding participle, okay? Like you, I haven't been able to judge your examples today because internet connection is really horrible today. Okay, my dear students, a dash bird, I can say a flying bird is a perfect example of beauty. Look at here, flying bird. Bird is being modified by the word flying. Bird is being modified by the word flying, and flying is a form of verb. What form of verb? This is ing form, okay? Flying is a form of verb, and this flying modifies bird. Bird is a noun, that's why flying has become an adjective. Flying has become an adjective. Flying has become an adjective. If any verb becomes an adjective, if any verb functions as adjective, that verb will be called participle. That verb will be called participle. Look at please, my dear students. So, participle is a form of verb. Participle is a form of verb, and this form of verb must work as an adjective. Must work as an adjective. I'd like to give you another example. So, my dear students, participle is a form of verb. Participle is a form of verb, and this form of verb must work as adjective. Is it clear to you? My last example for today, just look at the board. A dash patient. A dash patient was rescued. I have given you a question. A dash patient was rescued. In the dash, you are requested to use a participle. A dash patient was rescued.